Well, good morning. It's Thursday morning. It's early this morning, and we're going to read Acts 17, 16 through 21. Now, while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Some of the Epicurean and Stoic philosophers also conversed with him, and some said, "What does this babbler wish to say?" Others said, "He seems to be a preacher of foreign divinities," because he was preaching Jesus and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? For you bring some strange things to our ears. We wish to know, therefore, what these things mean." Now all the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there would spend their time in nothing except telling or hearing something new. So Paul is in Athens, the capital city of Greece, and it's a place full of idols and monuments and things. And he's doing his usual thing. He's going around preaching to Jews and preaching in the marketplace and talking to people. And these philosophers hear him and they're like, "Well, what's he talking about? What's he talking? This guy's weird. What's he saying?" So they bring him to this marketplace in the center of the city, and they say, "Now tell us what you're talking. Tell us what you're saying. We want to hear it." And the next 10 or 12 verses, which we'll read tomorrow, will be his speech. Excuse me. Paul here, though, is, he's getting a reaction that he hasn't gotten before. He's gotten either people interested in hearing what he has to say, or people who listen to what he says and says, "No, I don't believe that. That's wrong." So, sort of yes or no reactions. Here he's getting this, "Oh, he seems to be preaching about foreign divinities." He's got this sort of neutral reaction where they're like, "Oh, well, let's hear what he has to say," and they're not engaging with it positively or negatively. They're just interested. Just tell us more, and so it's a different reaction. And it says that these philosophers and the people of Athens spend their days hanging around in this place there in the center of the city and listen to things that are new. So they just want to hear about something new. I think in that sense, we're not that different from those ancient Athenians. We want to hear something new. I mean, we spend our time watching the news, right? Very little of it is new. Most of it's the same thing repeated over and over for 24 or 48 hours at a time. But we're always listening to see if there's breaking news, if something is going to happen, something dramatic. A school bus goes off a bridge and kills everybody, or that's horrible, or a terrible flood knocks a bridge out, or the Canadians attack our northern border. Who knows? We're always listening for something new. And even when there's not something dramatic and political like that, we're listening for, the latest news about celebrities and people who are famous, some of them only for being famous. How do they ever get famous? We don't know, but they're famous now, and so you have to know everything about their life, and it's a little much. But we are distracted by the idea of something new that's going to come along. That's a powerful distraction, and I call it a distraction because it specifically turns us away from what God might be saying and doing in our lives. I mean, what do you want to do? sit and ponder the scripture, or do you want to watch the news and see what's new? You feel that tug, you feel that distraction going on. Um, if you've ever been on a vacation somewhere where you really are away from, um, say, television and newspapers and things, um, on the one hand, sometimes you feel kind of free. On the other hand, you kind of wonder, did the rest of the world go to war and nobody told us? Um, I know when we were at our son's wedding in Mexico, we were in a small town on the Baja Peninsula, so we were very isolated. Wonderful place. Um, but if you were going to get any news, it was going to be in Spanish, and none of us had much Spanish, and so um, we didn't even turn the TV on. We didn't know. For all we knew, the United States had been destroyed. Um, I knew of a couple many years ago, a couple of young women who went to Cancun and were there when a hurricane hit. And the hurricane came, but they didn't know it was coming. And they did manage to escape and survive and be fine. But the way their mother told the story, it was terrifying and frightening. She was certainly terrified, wondering if she'd ever see them again, because the news was in Spanish and they just didn't pay any attention to it until all of a sudden this terrible storm came. Well, we can be distracted by the news then. We can be distracted by things that are going on. And some people get so excited and churned up and their blood pressure skyrockets because of what they watch. And you just want to say, why don't you turn off the television and take a deep breath and let's talk about something more important? Let's not try to go so fast all the time. Let's just slow life down and and um, and take it easy and more seriously and not be distracted. So that's, I think, a good lesson for us all. We will see you tomorrow with what Paul said to these philosophers, and it's very interesting because it's different from every other sermon he gives. But that's for tomorrow. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you later.